Um, Good afternoon to everyone and good morning to our friends in Europe. Thank you for joining us for our webinar. And this time we are very excited to be launching our DM70 series. Basically, these will be changes that we'll be bringing to our Mould and Die series. So for today, we will be sharing on the changes that will be coming to the family. We will also have 2 test comparisons with our competitors, and there will be 4 tests that we have prepared, and there will be a little bit sharing on industrial uses and application. Before I move on, if anyone is looking out to contact us, you can always reach us on our website at www.hpmt-industries.com. And you may send us an inquiry under contact us, and this email would be sent to all the panelists that you see here today. So because we are always the ones responsible for engaging with our customers. So without further ado, I will be introducing our speakers. Today we have Luciano Pezzota, our Sales and Marketing Director, Kian Tay from R&D, Sanka from Product Management, and myself, Seng Chi, will be the moderator for the webinar today. And moving on, we will try our best to keep the webinar within an hour. But that being said, we may exceed 5 minutes to 10 minutes this time because of the length of presentation that we have prepared here. It's a big series that we're launching. So we would start with the introduction of DM70, and then we will move into the 2 tests. And then we would invite Sanka towards the end to share on the conclusion and also a short summary of what we have presented today. And then we would, last but not least, have our Q&A session where we will try our best to have 10 to 15 minutes to answer all your questions. And without further ado, I would invite Luciano to have some opening words before we begin.
Thank you, Chi, and welcome to the webinar to our participants. As Chi mentioned, we have prepared a great presentation with a lot of relevant content today, so I will be very brief, but there's a couple of things that I really like to mention. So first of all, with over 120 products and approximately 4,000 SKUs, Mould and Die is one of the core businesses of HPMT, and we will continue investing in this product family. This means that today we're launching an important improvement to our product lineup, but our effort doesn't end here. And you can expect more developments in the future as we are committed in providing you with cutting-edge tools and solutions for this growing market. And with these regards, to succeed, we need your feedback and we need your insight because, of course, we are the manufacturer and we are accountable to bring successful products to the market. But no producer is able to succeed without an effective dialogue with its distributor network. Therefore, please feel free to reach out to us on your market needs, technical challenges, and opportunities, and we will take every input very seriously. And secondly, we have more products coming up in the next few months other than the Mould and Die. In particular, we have a new economy end mill and a new economy drill that will be launched in December to replace some of our historical products for this segment. And what I want to stress here is that in line with our philosophy, these products are designed to support you with more and more competitive price points, but more importantly, with superior features and benefits. That's why the new economy end mill will be equipped with the PDH technology, and the economy drill will include micro sizes as well. In the second quarter of 2022, instead, we will launch a major improvement to our Nitico 45 line, catering to exotic materials between 35 and 52 HRC. This improvement is particularly focused on providing superior performance on S-grade materials. So stay tuned for the upcoming announcements, but if you're already willing to know more, just let us know and we're very happy to share. And with that, thanks for joining today's webinar and making the time. I'm sure you will enjoy the session that we have prepared. Back to you, Chi.
Thank you, Luciano. And before we move on, I will just be sharing a little bit on the resources here on the screen. You may already scan the QR code on the right here to open up our leaflet if you would like to view it during the webinar. If not, actually, we have already prepared a page on the left, you can see on our website. If you were to go into our website, again, www.hpmt-industries.com, we have already a placeholder for the DM70 that you'll be able to enter straight away. And all the details that we share here today, you will also be able to find on that page itself. And of course, you'll be able to download the leaflet there as well. So let's move into the presentation finally. And here I would invite Sanka to share a little bit on the changes that we have done to our Mould Die family.
Thanks, Singchi. Good day to all. Welcome everyone in this great session, and thank you for your continuous support. Today is our official launch of new DM70 products. Before that, I would like to recap existing HPMT Mould Die product range. Yes, new DM70 is part of our Mould Die line. In this slide, whoever familiar or our existing customers, they will know these three high-level different category in the HPMT entire Mould Die product line. For the new customers, please just to stay with us. We will explain the new products in the next and upcoming slides. Here in this chart, we use bacterial hardness range to differentiate the entire Mould Die line. Basically, we have 45, 60 and 60x range. Comes with variety of selections, including square, ball nose, torus, micro and multi-flute. SCBN45 products covers 36 to 52 HRC. SCBN60 products covers 53 to 68 HRC. And SCBN60X products covers multiple range of hardness from 40 to 68 HRC. So this is the current existing products portfolio. In moving forward, in this slide, we will see the new product position and changes on the current product position too. New DM70 will cover from 50 and above HRC. SCBN45, the current one, will be up to 50 HRC. Means make it more clarity on the product selection. 50 and above existing BN45 products. 50 and above new DM70 products. At the same time, there are some industries, end users still need one tool that can cover soft to medium or even medium hard range, not more than 60 HRC. So in this segment, our new recommendation is using our existing SCBN60X products, but please take note that will reduce from 68 to 60 HRC. Why these changes? The new DM70 very well suitable for hardened materials starting from 50 and above HRC. So hence in the conclusion, existing SCBN45 up to 50 HRC, new DM70 products 50 to 70 HRC, and existing SCBN45X 40 to 60 HRC. Okay, right. Let's move on to the new DM70 products in details. Here, there are four important groups of end mills: square, ball nose, torus, and multi-flute. In the square table, we introduce standard with and without recess, and also micro long neck 2 and 4 flute. Total 4 products. That means 4 ADPs. Please take note, micro start from cutting diameter 0.1 millimeter to 6 millimeter. In the past, we start from 0.2 millimeter up to only 4 millimeter. In the DM70, here, SC70 square micro comes with wider range of selections. On the top right, ball nose, again, similar to square, with and without recess and also micro long neck. All of these 3 products comes with 2 flute as a standard. And micro start from 0.1 millimeter to 6 millimeter. Torus, available with and without recess and also micro long neck. Here, the micro start from 0.2 millimeter to 6 millimeter. So all the micro, we increase up to 6 millimeter, and also for the square and the ball nose, we start from 0.1 millimeter. Last but not least, multi-flute square with and without recess, additional, one more new product to our family. That is torus with recess. Okay, the next, we will focus more in depth about new DM70 product features and benefits. And also we will having a Q&A session at the end. Meantime, if in any doubt or questions, please feel free to type in the Q&A tab. We will answer in live as much as possible at the end of the presentations. Thank you very much. Back to Sengchi.
Thank you, Sanka. So we will move on to the main features and benefits. Here we actually put main features and benefits because there will also be unique features that we have added into each type of tool, whether it's square, ball nose, multi-flute, or the torus. So we will go through the main features and benefits that will cover the entire range of the DM70, and then we will touch on individually of the each type that we have also done for the tools, and we will explain why did we do it. So here I would like to invite Kieran to share a bit more on the main features and benefits.
Thank you, Sengchi. Hello to everyone. So let's move on to the first main features and benefit of the DM70 product. First one is cutting edge preparation. So as we all know, after grinding the tool, the cutting edge will definitely have an uneven, sharp edge, and this will be a big point for the tool during machining. Hence, we do cutting edge treatment to remove the uneven surface and impurities, and also to round up the cutting edge to reduce the risk of chipping when using. The next one is tighter tolerance of the shank. This gives a higher accuracy in terms of the clamping when using in a shrink fit tool holder. Besides that, with a tighter shank tolerance, it also gives a higher clamping power and also better concentricity of the tool when you place it in the machine. Next is our new grade of carbide from UF to UF+. As you can see here, we use carbide grain size about 0.2 to 0.5 micron for the tool in order for us to enhance our tool rigidity as well as overall strength. This eventually enables us to achieve higher wear resistance during application. Finally, the last common upgrade of DM72 series is our improvised coating formula. As compared to our previous coating formula, we have increased the silicon content in the coating formula for better performance. Because of this coating formula, our tool is more resilient in heat resistant, as well as we are able to increase our machining speed in certain mold and die materials. And also, it enables us to use this tool up to 70 HRC of hardness. As you can see here, based on our calculation, we have achieved 30 to 40% in wear resistance. Back to you, Sengchi.
Thanks, Kian. And here, once again, like we mentioned earlier, we will be going into the unique features that we have added to each type of tool. And the first one would be on the square end mill, which will also cover the micro square end mills. And here we have two things. One, it's called the gash length design that we have improvised. And there's also a high helix angle that we have added into the series. Kian, if you can share, why did we add both of these into the square?
Sure. Gash length design is because we know our targeted material for the DM70 series is more on hardened steel. And we know that we need to do something to protect the square edge. Otherwise, the square edge will break away. So hence, with this gash length design is to strengthen the corner and prevent it to chip easily. As for the higher helix angle, during the application, we know that it's going to have high machining load. Hence, we design it with slightly higher helix angle to reduce the radial cutting force. Eventually, it will bring down the machining load of the tool.
And now we would move on to the torus end mill. And here, actually, you would see something that is pretty interesting. Here, we have something called the S-gash radius design. Kian will share a bit more on this, but you will see that also we have the DP design only for the torus end mill. And it will be interesting, Kian, if you can share why only for the torus end mill did we include the DP design?
Sure, no problem. So let's look at the first point here, S-gash design. In order for us to achieve a perfect joining or a perfect tangent between the two OD and the radius, we have to include the S-gauge design to smoothen out the joining area of the tool diameter and radius, and also to the end face and radius. This not only serves as the edge protection, it is also for the overall surface finish of the workpiece. Why do I say so? Imagine if the radius is not smooth. As you can see in the diagram there, it will cause an uneven mark on the workpiece. This would affect the surface finish value, which is measured in RA. As for the differential pitch design, we know that our torus end mill can be used more on face milling operation, and they have the tendency to cause vibration during machining. So with that in mind, we integrated the DP design simply to break the vibration to increase the tool stability during application. And why we did not include this DP design in our end mill, our square end mill, the reason is because during our test, most of the time, the end mill is used for a lighter cut, and DP is not really suitable for a lighter cut, and it might cause a rough surface after finishing. Yep.
This was also very interesting when we found out, and there are some secrets to it that we are not going to share, but this will be an indication of why we added it and we didn't for the rest. And moving forward, we'll be sharing more on the Bonos designs and also the micro Bonos. And in this case, we also have two, where we actually have an enhanced chisel angle design and also an enhanced geometry. Kian, if you can share what is the difference that we have done from this comparing to what we have before?
Right. So in the past, we have conducted many tool tests, and we realized our previous generation tool are not performing very well on the end face due to not cutting effect. So what we did is we added a chisel design to create the cutting edge in the middle of the tool so that our tool could be more reliable on copy milling, or in other words, it's called profile milling. The next one is the enhanced geometry design. We have played around with our tool design, such as our core diameter or the tool, as well as the specification of our long neck series, such as the cutting length, pilot length, to further increase the tool rigidity for the hardened steel machining.
Thank you, Kian. And now we'll be covering the last one, which is our multi-flute. And in this case, we have the square and the torus as well. In here, you can also see we have included the differential helix, the high helix angle, which Kian has already shared earlier on the square, and the gauge length design. This is nothing new. So Kian, can you share why in this case we added the DH for the multi-flute?
Right. Differential helix design. We know that the multi-flute program in our DM70 series will be frequently used for the finishing side milling operation. That is the reason why we designed with differential helix in mind, so that it could reduce the vibration and lower down the overall machining load. And also not to forget, it is also to help to maintain the wall straightness of the workpiece.
Yep. So that being said, these technologies are also included in the SE70 Taurus multi-flute, where you have the DH, the high helix angle, and like Kian shared earlier, for a smoother joining at the workpiece material, the S-gauge radius design is also included in this. So without further ado, we would go to our tool tests. And once again, here today, we have prepared 4 tool tests for you guys. All of them are test bench against our competitors. We are not allowed to name our competitors, but I'm sure you will be able to see some design and some similarities to competitors that you know. But before we go on, I will share briefly. On the first test, what we were trying to do is actually a side milling operation where we wanted to understand how is our durability faring against our competitor. So it's more of a roughing process. And then we have the second test where it's on BN70 Bonos on standard sizes. So you can see it's the bigger ones where we'll be testing our profiling to understand our finishing quality versus our competitors and also our tool life. And on the third test, we will be doing the same as the second, but with a micro tool. And last but not least, the highlight of the webinar would be actually also on the Bono's micro tool, but would be testing on a 70 HRC. So that is really interesting for us. So before I move forward, I will pass it over to Kian fully to guide you guys through the two tests.
Thank you, Xingqi. So the first two tests, this test is to aim to show us where do we stand of our new product in terms of positioning with our previous generation tool and also with our competitors. There are some well-known brands here in the Asian market. So for example, here you see our A5F, against our previous generation A35 as well as two other competitors. Looking in this test, machining time is about 3 hours, 15 minutes using the parameter of 8,000 RPM, 2,000 feet rate, and its dry machining cut. Moving on, I would like to show you the tool before machining. Notice our coating color is slightly different as compared to our previous generation. And the design of the tool is different as compared to our competitor. So after the two tests for 3 hours and 15 minutes of machining time, not only our DM70 A5F ranked top against our previous generation tool, we are also ranked top against our competitors where we have lower tool wear after the machining test. You can see here in the tool wear pattern in the photo shown here. For understanding, I'll show you a better illustration on where do we stand. Here is a graph of the tool wear against our against machining passes. As you can see here, our new DM70 in maroon performed the best. Moving on to our second tool test, it's our profile machining. This is to check the surface finish produced by our tool against our previous generation tool as compared to our competitors. The tool we are using here, A5Q versus our previous generation A69 and two other well-known brands in the mold and die industry. The machining time here is about 5 hours. RPM shown just now is 11,000 RPM. Feed rate 2,200 in dry machining. Okay, moving on to tool before machining, you can see here there is a big difference in terms of our design of our tool with our previous generation as well as our differences with our competitor. With that difference of our tool with our competitor, after 5 hours of machining time, the flank wear on our tool is the least amount. Not only we won against our previous generation, you see here, we also has the least amount of wear against our competitor. To give you a better illustration, you can see here the graph also show us that we are moving in the right direction in terms of our design changes that we made. Moving on is the surface finish of our workpiece shown. We are also on par with our competitor. We are able to achieve the standards of surface finish in the market. Okay, next is our third tool test. Third tool test is our pocket machining. This is to check our surface finish produced by our micro long neck tool against our competitor in SKD61 at 52 HRC material. I repeat, SKD61 at 52 HRC material. Looking here, we are using A5S for finishing to compete against competitor N and competitor J, and is MQL. To give you an idea on how do we do our pocket from the start to the end, let me explain. We use our A5H for our roughing process. Moving on to semi-finishing process, we use our A5Q. Then finally, the finishing process using our DM70 micro long neck A5S against competitor. And you'll find here the following parameter for the individual processes in the table. Moving on, to give you a better idea on how do we prepare the workpiece for the two tests, you can see here we do our roughing process using our A5H on the left. and then also our A5Q for semi-finishing process on the right. Moving on, let's have a look on our tool DM70 micro long neck before the machining process. Notice that the end face design is slightly different as compared to our competitor. Our end face is slightly wider and the tool is more rigid in design. And the next, after 2 hours and 25 minutes of machining, looking at the wear of the in the photo, in the same working condition, our tool turned out to have significantly lower tool wear as compared to our competitor in the same range. And let's look at the surface finish outcome. As you can see here, not only our tool has the least amount of tool wear, but we also have the best value of RA in surface finishing on our workpiece. And finally, to give you a clear idea on where do we stand on our tool test result, you can see the graph on the left, tool durability. Our DM70 micro long neck in maroon, we have the least amount of tool wear. Looking at the surface finishing performance, our RA value is significantly lower, meaning that we have the best surface finish in this tool test. Then, to also give you a clear, better image on the industry, we have another tool test on the S136H material at 52 HRC. This material is very much commonly used in the Asian market. As you can see here, we are very close to our competitor in both the durability, minimal tool wear, and longer tool life, and also on par in surface finishing. This is the market acceptance level for surface finishing. Finally, our final tool test. DM70 main highlight on working with 70 HRC material, 70 HRC material to see our tool durability. This is actually a continuation tool test that we have previously conducted. In this stage, we just added our DM70 A5S into the tool test comparison. Now let's look at the parameter. Similarly, we use our standard A5Q to do semi-finishing process, and then our A5S finishing operation, and the parameter you can see at the bottom table below. Then moving on, this is our wear of the tool after 1 hour and 45 minutes on 70 HRC. I repeat again, 70 HRC material. We only suffer minor wear, which is on average just 0.053 mm. And to give you a better comparison with others, this is the average tool wear comparing with our previous BN60 standard line, A69, previous generation performance tool, BN60X, A4Q. And finally, another well-known European market brand for the mold die industry, competitor G. In this previous two tests, you can see the test stopped at 1 hour and 30 minutes. It is because the machining load is too high and we can't continue with it. And with that being said, that is the end of my side for these two tests. Overall, we are happy for the results and we are excited to get the product out in the market. Back to you, Seng-Chi.
Thank you, Kian. So I hope you guys are as excited as we are with the results that we have got from our two tests. Feel free to ask any questions to clarify if anything is still uncertain to you. But once again, before we move on, we will invite Sanka to share in summary what we have done to our DM70 family.
Thanks, Kian and Seng-Chi. Thanks to all for your patience. Just 2 more slides to cover. Just a quick and short recap. DM70 comes with higher performance compared to our previous generations in the hard machining line. How is this possible? Yes, it's possible. There are 4 improvement points here to summarize. First, thanks to our improved coating technology. Second, UF plus material. That means harder than the current version. Third, along with the suitable geometry and design. Last, the fourth point, additional tighter tolerance for both cutting diameter and radius compared to our previous generations. So all this, what is the benefits to the customer? Yes, of course, all of this leads to a greater protectivity, means including longer tool life and finer surface finishing. Moving on, in this slide, in general, HPMT DM70 is in the maroon color line in the chart, gives you an overview idea about the positions compared with those benchmark competitors. In terms of price, they are much competitive. In terms of durability, surface finish, tight tolerance, and cutting parameters, HPMT's DM70 in the middle of all of them. And this is the acceptance level in the end users, industry, and requirements. Right, let's move on. Once again, just to recap, there are 13 new products, total around 1,221 selections available as a standard. Compared to existing, we added more than 60% sizes as a new, means wider range of selections available in DM70, especially in microlines, with most of the common sizes available to order. Square and torus available from 1 millimeter to 20 millimeter. Almost available from 1 millimeter to 12 millimeter. Multi-flute, both square and torus available from 3 millimeter to 20 millimeter. Please take note, if you look at any other than the standard sizes from the leaflet, we are able to produce as a standard special tool. Please contact us. Thank you very much. Back to Singchi.
Thank you, Sanka. And before we move to the Q&A, I would like to share also that you may see here that we have indicated which are the items that we actually have stock or built stock for the launch. And these are reliable informations that you can bet on. So this is something that we have also changed in the last few years to make sure that whenever we launch a product, we have gotten a lot of feedback in the past that we may not have good ready stock for it. So we have already built the items that we know would be famous in the market and the industry. So once again, thank you everyone for joining us today in our webinar. And we will move on to the Q&A section. If you could, now would be the time to ask your questions, and we will spend the remaining time that we have on the session to answer any of the questions that you may have. I think there was an issue that the questions were not able to be asked. So once again, if you had any questions earlier, please do ask again. Yes, you can get the full range of cutting parameter on our website. We actually have two areas where you can get it. One from the leaflet. Two, we also actually have a cutting parameter tab on the very top right of our website where we actually update it on a monthly basis. And you can actually see the version of the update at the bottom left of the file when you download it. So we actually keep it very, very updated. It's more updated than our printed version because you can imagine as we are doing our tests, as we get our feedbacks from the market, we actually update it constantly right now. We got quite a few questions coming in. Sanka, would you like to answer Joey's question?
Yeah, I will answer in live here. Thanks for the question. The question here, the DM70, let me find the question first, okay. Have a long range tool for future product. Yes, the DM70 right now, we also add a lot of SKUs compared to our previous generations. In fact, there are maybe few SKUs like long and extra long. We might have a room to improve in the future. So anything that earlier also I mentioned, if for example, it's not available as a standard, you can able to produce standard specials. In the future, we will come with a more extensive range, including long and extra long. Yeah.
Thank you, Sankar. And we have a few interesting questions that I can answer quickly before some of the complicated questions. Are the tools available to be ordered right now? Yes, all of them are available. And like Sankar said, if you were to actually find a size that is not in there, which it would be surprising because we have done our study quite intensely. But if you were not to find anything that you would like to order in terms of sizes, you can always order a special. If not, the standard items as per the leaflet that we have put up on our website, they are in stock and ready to be ordered. Also, another quick question from our Russian partners would be what type of coating is used in this series. It's a TiSiN based coating, titanium silicon nitride based coating. And we have a series of questions from Kuma as well that I could answer. In the testing, in the last test, what material did we machine on? It was a HRC 70 material. I don't really have the details here.
Sorry, Senchi.
Yep.
Steel at 70 HRC is steel.
It's a steel. Okay. And if Kian or Ho, we have another panelist here that is actually one of our R&D manager, Ho. If you guys can also answer, why is tighter diameter and radius tolerance a feature? Why is a tighter diameter and radius tolerance counted as a feature for the DM70?
Okay, as we all know, in the mold and die industry, to produce a mold, we require how do I say? The mold spec is very tight. That's why we need a tighter tolerance radius or tighter tolerance in diameter to produce a good mold. Another aspect is better tolerance also give better surface finishing, which is equally important for mold making.
Thank you, Kian.
Another thing I want to add on regarding the tight tolerance, because some of the mold actually require a very high precision. Because let's say the tooth tolerance actually is they have a up and down. Let's say we set the tolerance is the diameter 6. The diameter tolerance is -0 until -20 microns. That means they have a 20 micron difference. So every time you need to compensate the diameter tolerance, very difficult. So you have to get the very precise mold. That's why we set it a very tight tolerance in our tools, so that you no need to every time, let's say you change the tool, you need to compensate the diameter again. So this will be another benefit for the machining. Yeah.
Thank you, Ho. I hope that answers your question. If not, you can ask further based on their reply. We have a few questions here. One from Mizaki. Whether after repairing a mold, after welding, you may find different hardness between basic material and welding. Can we use this tool for both? Our answer to you is that we have done a lot of tests, and this I can also answer another question at the same time. We have actually tested the tool all the way from below 40 HRC all the way to 70. And what we have found out is that with the new coating that Kian has shared earlier, the hardness of the coating has become higher. So that being said, it also enabled us to cut better in the harder range. But at the same time, it has also stunted our performance at the softer range. So as long as after welding that the hardness is still above 50, we are very confident that the tool will work. But if it's below 50, we have tested it up to about 45, where we still see an accepted performance. But anything below that, due to the new coating that we had, it is not as versatile as it used to be, but it will definitely perform better in the harder materials. So I think that also answers another question that someone anonymous has posted, whether we have tested it on NUC80 or SKD. Yes, we have. So once again, on the softer materials, it's not working as good as is shown on our presentation for 50 HRC and above. And Kian and Ho, can you also help to answer, can DM70 be used in wet machining, or should they choose to use wet or dry machining, which is better?
Preferably with this coating, we will prefer to use dry machining. But depending on your condition, maybe certain areas you need wet machining, you can try to use it. But our advice is with this coating is preferably dry machining.
Thank you, Kian. So we have actually answered quite a bit of questions. And we have actually answered 10. And we have no open questions left. Anything else that you guys would like to find out more about the DM70? To be honest, we were surprised with the time that we have taken to finish the presentation, because during our practice runs, it was much longer. So once again, thank you, everyone. We have had a good session, and we have answered all the questions. I will still be here for the next 5 minutes. If you have any further questions, please do keep on asking.
I have a few words here. One more question is also from Mr. Chayan. He's asking the same, whether he's using for coolant or air blow. Of course, I think the answer is given by Kian. It should be air blow, not even for oil or coolant, anything, just is an air blow. Thanks for the question, Mr. Chayan. And also one more point to take note. When we are introducing the DM70, there are 13 new products. Is also, please take note, there are existing our products. Around 10 EDPs will be obsolete soon in 1 year of time. So means our existing product, for example, A35 versus the new product, what we see the performance, definitely the existing products will be obsolete soon. So more details we will send you through the documents, or you can approach us. Our customer service team will give you more details.
Yep. Thank you, Sangha, because that will be affecting more of our current partners that we have had that have been buying our Mould Die products. But once again, we will allow everyone to have a 12 months transition. And in that case, also, you can be sure that we have taken into consideration about the price positioning. We will not be talking about price on webinar, but please approach us and we will share with you definitely good news about what we are planning to do with the DM70 versus the previous generation. Yeah, and there was also a question from our Netherlands partner, Mr. Visser, is that are the speed and feeds of the new end mill available on our tool advisor? Just to give a quick update on the tool advisor, because we are changing our entire backend system where we will be linking all our data to our website. For now, we will not be updating it too much. But that being said, we will be updating the new tools on the tool advisor. And yes, you'll be able to find it on the tool advisor, on the product page, and also once again on the cutting parameter tab that we have on our website.
Mr. Dan also asking the same questions. I think Mr. Dan, thanks for your questions. Hope you understand that these tools is suitable for dry machining.
But in this case, I think we can also explain a little bit, if you were to use it in wet machining, would it be a disadvantage?
Kian, who want to answer this question?
Sorry?
If we were to use it also in wet machining, would it be a disadvantage?
It won't be a disadvantage, but it may not turn out what we want during machining.
Can you elaborate more on that? What do you mean it will not turn out to be what we want?
Because the coating is designed to self-resist in heat, and also, how do I say this? Self-resisting in heat, and in simple words, that the coating is very good in heat resisting already. To add on coolant, you might shock the tooth. And sometimes coolant may affect the surface finishing. You might not know whether the coolant will damage the surface finishing or it will help to assist the surface finishing. It's all depending on the machining condition and your coolant type you use on the application, during the application.
And another thing want to add on is if we want to apply the MQL, actually you can get the better finishing if compared to the air blow, based on what we test in-house. Because sometimes the MQL, because they have a lubricity on the workpiece, that's why during the machining you can get the better finishing as compared to the air blow. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Ho. And I think that will definitely answer. That means at the end of the day, we find that MQL is the best solution for a TISIN based coating in hard machining. We have also another question for Ho and Kian. If you can share, what type of chuck is the best for DM70?
Of course, you using the shrink fit will be the better at this moment. Yeah.
And as I explained previously, is due to the tighter shank tolerance. So in order for you to get a better concentricity of the tool, it's best to advise people to use shrink fit.
Thank you, Kian, as well. And here we have another question, is do we have two tests for more than 65 HRC? You may have missed the last two tests that we have shared. The last two tests that we actually did is on the 70 HRC. And yes, so basically for the development of these tools, we have tested all the way from 70 up to below 40 to 38 HRC. So means all the way from NUC 80, we tested all the way up to HRC 70. This time we really wanted to make a difference in how we test the tools and how we launch our tools. And that being said, just to share, it has been more than 12 months that we have been developing this new series for the market. Maybe. Okay, so we still have
one more last question.
Yeah.
Have you ever tested DM70 on hydraulic checks? Question from Mr. Chayan. Chayan, thanks for the questions. Kian or who want to answer this question?
Have we tested DM70 on hydraulic
checks? Yeah.
Yes, we do. We do check. We do use hydraulic chuck in our testing as well, and it works fine also. So no worry about the hydraulic chucks.
So once again, everyone, we have another 5 more minutes left. If you have any questions, we will try our best to answer them. And then we will be wrapping up our session. Okay, so if there is no more questions, once again, we would like to thank everyone for showing your support, for always being with us in our webinar. we do get a lot of familiar names and also quite a few new names that we have had today. Thank you very much for being with us. Thank you so much for showing your support. And once again, thank you and stay safe. And we really hope to see all of you soon. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. We are looking forward to having you in another session very shortly.
Thanks, everyone. Take care and bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Take care. Bye.